Yo, what is going on, you guys? Bastion yugioh here, and today, guys, I want to be coming at you with my meta tier list for October, going actually November now, 2023, guys. We are almost at the very end of the year, and it has been absolutely crazy with product. So many amazing decks out there. The ban list got rid of the most cancerous deck out there, and now we have what is considered to be the most plethora of absolutely amazing variety when it comes to meta decks out there. Now, of course, there's been a lot of speculation as to whether this is good or bad. You've seen Pack make videos on it, you've seen Joshua Schmidt make videos on it, you've seen Galzo. Everyone's making videos on that, guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and define, guys, what my opinion is on this meta tier list and what you guys should be preparing for in the event that you are looking to play at a large scale event, whether it's a regional, YCS, whatever it might be, guys. Go ahead and stay tuned for that. But before we do, guys, the merch just came in. Draw the out. It is a skill issue. Sweater has come out, guys. We are out here rocking the merch all day, every day, all the videos from now on, guys. So excited for it. Actually, I want to point my camera down just a little bit just so y'all can see them. Oh, you can actually see the Bastion yugioh mug. There you go. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you do. Bastion yugioh, at Bastion yugioh, Bastion yugioh. There you go. There you have it. Pretty cool. Very excited about it. Just came in. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the video, guys. We are going to be starting off with, I want to go ahead and start off with what I believe are just the best decks out there right off the bat, guys. Let's go ahead and get those three out the way, because these are the ones that you guys are most interested in. You guys want to know, Sebastian, what do I need to prepare for in the next regional, next YCS, whatever I need to do? Number one, of course, no brainer, is Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace, tier 1 deck. No questions asked. The Diabellstar engine coming out only adds and increases the consistency and overall power this deck has, guys, giving you a free special summon of a level 1 monster, level 1 fire monster, I should say, which of course is going to be your fire hydrant. This in turn gives you access to your full combo. You cannot beat how strong this deck is, especially if it's going first. You're going to have to deal with Book of Mooning your cards face down, 4 or 5 set back row. It is a better trap deck than other trap decks, and it doesn't even play that many traps, maybe 2 or 3. Crazy. The next top tier deck, guys, we are gonna have to go ahead and give it over here to Tierlist, of all things. Tierlist. Oh my gosh, I thought we were done with this deck. I thought that I had finally seen the last day of Tierlist, guys, but with the banning of Arise Heart, this deck is back for whatever reason, and all of a sudden it is without a doubt one of the best decks in the format. So Tierlist has come back, guys. Again, banning of Rise Heart really just brought the ability for all graveyard decks to come back, so why not bring back the best graveyard deck ever potentially to have existed? I mean, you guys have seen the picture of the I think the feature match YCS, whatever, when they're both, it's a mirror match for the Tierlist, and they both have like 30-40 cards all spread out across the board, and you just don't know what's going on because there's so many chain links going on. Things like, it's absolutely crazy, guys, man. The way this deck can really do is not nearly at that level it was, but it can still make some extremely crazy boards, extremely crazy plays, really versatile, and overall with RNG with this deck, forget about it. They're always gonna have the best of luck. So Tierlist, definitely a top tier deck for sure. For the last of the best deck, guys, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it to Mannadium. Mannadium has been waiting for its moment to come out of the shadows and emerge into this beautiful butterfly or caterpillar. No, butterfly. I had it right. Beautiful butterfly that it is, guys. This is an absolutely ridiculously insane combo deck. What it can do going first, going second, it can break boards, make boards. It can abuse cards like Chaos Angel very easily, of course. It can even, its worst play is summoning out the Tri-Heart, potentially. The Tri-Heart, which is untargetable, is kind of like a floodgate, pseudo floodgate, everything like that. So it's just overall just a mess of a deck, guys. Super crazy. I mean, the more you destroy their cards, the more they special summon. You can't really out their stuff unless you untarget. No, you can target non-destruction removal like Nightmare Unicorn. Potentially you had to do it at the right time. There's so many things that this deck can play around. It's crazy. You need 2, 3, potentially 4 hand traps just to make a dent in this deck's final board, and I think Mannadium, with a good skilled player behind it, can absolutely just outlast anybody in the format. Definitely top tier. Alright, guys, so now we got the top tier stuff out the way, just so you guys know what I know is top tier. What I know is top tier, not my opinion, it's what I know. Guaranteed, proven track record. If you guys want to go ahead and check back the most recent regionals, YCSs, things like that, top tier decks. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on, guys. Now we're gonna look at some tier 1.5, tier 2 rogue, some cheeks decks, some cheek category. What? Like down below, comment down cheeks. Alright, guys, so next up, guys, I have a deck that I talked about very recently, guys. I have Sharks. Sharks is obviously a rogue tier strategy. It's not gonna go in the cheeks category because, as I mentioned in that video, Sharks are extremely scary and extremely rogue and unknown. What all that means is that no one really understands what the deck does right off the bat besides XZ summon. So if you don't know what to prepare for with this deck besides play the barrier, call XZs, then you are gonna have a tough time because this deck is just 40 cards of all extenders. It can set up multiple Omni negates, take your monsters untargeting, take non-destruction removal. I was just talking about that stuff. I mean, the Shark deck is actually really scary to go up against, but it is of course still a rogue tier strategy. I haven't seen it do consistently well, and I want to go ahead and base this not just off my personal opinion, guys. I want to go ahead and base this off of facts and what we have seen in the most recent topping list of YCS's regionals, things like that. In my sprinkle in some OTS championships I may have seen, but you know, whatever. I can bend the rules. This is my channel. Alright, so Sharks at rogue. Next up, guys, I have the Fluandry strategy. So Fluandry is an interesting deck. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put it at tier 2, not quite rogue, not nearly 1.5. The one thing I will give Fluandry is that it is a scary deck because it can play cards like D-Shifter easily. It doesn't special summon, so a lot of decks that counter that, you're not really doing anything against this deck. Issue with it is that the cards like, okay, so what stops the best decks in the format, right? So you can run Ash, Veiler, or Imperm, I would say are the 3 best hand traps in the current format. You can throw DD Crow in there as the 4th best as well. And then Nibiru number 5. If you guys are interested, they're my top 5 hand traps of the format. There you go, congratulations. So all these cards have one thing in common. All these cards hurt the Fluandry strategy, except for DD Crow, of course. But you can substitute that with Drone Lockbird, and then you just auto win against it. So that's the one thing I don't like about Fluandries right now, is that Imperm really hurts his deck, Veiler really hurts his deck, Ash kind of hurts his deck depending on if they can chain block or not. So that is unfortunate for Fluandries players, but then again, you're also a Fluandries player, which I am myself, so I understand I understand how you feel, but I'm no longer a Fluandries player now that's in my box. Next up, guys, we have the Rika Sun Avalon. Rika Sun Avalon is weird. I'm gonna go ahead and put it to 1.5. Only because it is not really played in the US. In the EU, everyone plays this card. Everyone plays this card. It was the second that the new Rose Mage, whatever cards came out. I'm sure everyone there was absolutely crazy. You have Jessica over there slapping everyone up, comboing off, already OTKing people with the new support, whatever it might be. It's not even out yet. I mean, Rika Sun Avalon is a very scary deck. I only put it tier 1.5. I don't want to put it lower because the reason I don't think this deck has the representation in top because I don't think enough people here in the States give it the chance that it really should have, guys. I mean, Rika Sun Avalon is a wild deck. 1.5, I am comfortable with it. Next up, we have Mathmech, guys. Mathmech, I'm actually going to go ahead and put towards the top of Rogue. So I know I most recently have a deck profile for the Mathmech Firewall strategy. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out, link will be in the description. I'll also have the cards around here somewhere in the top as well. The guy went clean off, won 3 locals in a row, 12-0 essentially, 2-0'd everybody without dropping a single game. In the right hands, this deck is stupid crazy. However, it relies way too much on a card like Circular to do anything in your turn. So or not just a turn, in your whole play as well. So that's something that I do have as a criticism for it. It tends to be very fragile at times, although it has from personal experience, a phenomenal Brain and Chimera strategy matchup, I should say. So I took that quick 4-0, unfortunately, against me. That was bad. Next up, guys, I have Sprite. So Sprite, unfortunately, man, it hasn't done well in a while. I mean, it's got some tops here and there, but honestly, I think Sprite is seen as more of like a tier 2 to rogue strategy, which just doesn't feel right. It feels very wrong to say, man. I mean, Sprite, it was my favorite deck back when it first came out. Of course, it was a lot of fun to play. It's great for beginners, definitely teaches you a lot of chain links. It's not a overcomplicated strategy, so you can definitely go ahead and pick it up on the go, learn as you go, and it has a very generous learning curve, which I do like, again, for new players. Having said that, I really believe that Sprite is a high rogue. I'm being very real with you guys. I do believe Sprite's going to be a high rogue strategy. I think my main issue with it is that it doesn't have as many variations that are valid anymore because Sprite Elf is no longer with us. So realistically, Sprite is good in the runic for hire Sprite, which plays like 2 or 3 Sprite cards realistically, so it isn't really Sprite. Life Twin Sprite, which is not even going to be on this tier list because it's not a meta deck. You have decks like the Mannequin Cat Sprite or whatever, you know. It's not really something that's going to be that crazy anymore, whereas before it could be actually seen as something really crazy in the event that you're able to get like a End of Anubis or whatever out with Mannequin Cat. Jinzo was crazy, you know, things like that essentially was trying to say. So Sprite, top rogue, I'm comfortable with that. Fight me in the comments. Next up, guys, I have Branded Chimera. Branded Chimera, it's been a bit of a letdown, honestly, because I really thought that this was going to be one of the better decks of the format. I am going to have to put it at the I'm going to be realistic. I'm going to go ahead and put it towards the top of tier 2, which I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it potentially, but listen, guys, there's so much firepower in the top meta. You're probably going to see a lot of Branded Chimera regardless, so representation is definitely going to be there. I have not seen a single person top with Branded Chimera, regional or YCS, ever since Agoth came out. The new cards, I personally do believe, are very good. Tao the Master Chanter, whatever his name is really good. The new Fusion is crazy good as well. It adds for some new lines of play, adds for the special summoning of some floodgates. You can use the Barrier Statue of the Abyss, things like that. Things that are really detrimental to some decks, but I just don't think it's enough at this current time to put it at a top tier deck level. But again, it's a personal opinion for right now. We'll go ahead and put it towards the top of tier 2. Dark World is a rogue. Dark World is a rogue strategy. So I really thought Dark World was going to be the most crazy deck, flying off the gates the second that Ken and Gen were fully announced and introduced here in the TCG as exclusives, because I thought, okay, here are cards that fully special summon themselves to your opponent's side of the field and let you draw or discard cards as your opponent is activating them. So I thought right off the bat that, well, that's right up Dark World's alley. They're definitely going to take advantage of this. Dark Corridor is a crazy card. You know, there's so many good things going for Dark World. I don't understand why Dark World is still not topping anything. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as a rogue category, guys. Prove me wrong. You know what? If you guys want to go ahead and prove me wrong, do well the next regional, go for it. I will be at the Houston regional. If you guys do well with Dark World, for 2 things. Number 1, give me a deck profile. Number 2, we can go ahead and discuss, you know, bragging rights, things like that. Next up, guys, I have Vanquish Soul. So Vanquish Soul is a very much slept on deck, guys. I really don't so I haven't seen it do too much here in the TCG as of recent, but I can still see this deck being a potential tier 1. No, it's definitely not tier 2. I think Vanquish Soul is tier 1.5 deck. I will definitely put it above the Rika Con deck, whatever. Vanquish Soul is a crazy deck, especially with a brand new card, the Quinglong, Xiaolong, whatever his name is, the fire guy. The card is ridiculous, man. Special summon itself for free as long as you activate any Vanquish Soul effect, and then all you have to do is reveal 2 fire types, 2 fire attributes, I should say. You search whatever Vanquish Soul card you want in your entire deck. You can search the Trap, which can burn you for like 1600 damage for free. You don't even have to have anything really for it. It's crazy, man. I mean, the deck wins in time easily because of heavy Borger. So if you ever have a drawn out game with this, you're pretty much gonna lose. I mean, the overall advantage, again, Borger is such a crazy card because every turn you're drawing a card. At least Heat Soul with the Link 3, I think his name is Heat Soul, you have to pay 1,000 life points each turn to draw a card. The Vanquish Soul card just says draw a card every turn. Just reveal what's in your hand, but you're always going to have the attributes that you need because all this deck does is cycle through proper attributes. But, you know, whatever. I think the deck is crazy good. I think it's definitely slept on as well. 1.5 is the lowest I'm going on that one. I'm going to take a little bit more time here, so we're going to go and speed up a little bit, guys. Pirelli tier 1.5 deck. There's really not much else I can say about it. It's a deck that, with it, you know that you have a great matchup against most decks. It is still a really powerful deck. I don't know if it just doesn't get the representation because people are probably bored of playing this, just don't want to play anymore, which is perfectly fine. It's reasonable explanation. Essentially, we all want to play newer things. Pirelli still should be seen as a top tier deck. I'll go ahead and put it above Riga Sun Avalon. Runic Stun is a tier 2 deck, unfortunately. I mean, the fact that I've seen it, I think top 2. I think it topped YCS Indie because Asian Persuasion got top 32 with it. I think it topped the next regional after that as well. Runic Stun is a cluster of a deck, man. It's really funny. I went up against it a few times here in San Antonio. It can be really wild, honestly, to go up against. Because you're constantly just taking L's to skill drain, Tikaboo, goes in match, and all those type of things. So you just really can't do anything unless you have the lightning storm or whatever it might be. So if you have that, you're good to go. I think tier 2 is generous enough for a stun based strategy. Next up, guys, I have Gold Pride. Gold Pride, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the cheeks category, and I dare you to fight me on that one. I could put it in the rogue potentially, but it would be very low end of rogue, potentially in the cheeks. So let's go ahead and leave it right there. We can talk about it later. Labyrinth is a tier 2 deck. I'm gonna go ahead and put. Do I want to put it above Runic Stun? Floowandereeze is under all of these. That's tough to say. You know what? Labyrinth is still going to be a tier 2 deck, guys. I haven't really seen the deck live up to its potential where I believe it really should be. Labyrinth on paper is a crazy deck because all you're doing is just returning stuff with Compulse and like special summoning from deck, all your crazy stuff, and your back row can't get hit or your ladies can't get targeted if you have like set cards. It has so many niche low interactions that just really just build up into a snowball of a really good trap based deck. But I just don't see it get the results that it really should. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it at tier 2. I think that's fair. Drytron is a rogue tier strategy, guys. Drytron, I'm so high on this deck, man. I'm so high on this deck. It's just, I feel like it needs to really do well, and realistically should probably go in the cheeks category. But Drytron, as you guys know, has proven record of being a top tier deck before. Is that enough to justify it being a rogue tier strategy? We'll have to wait and see, guys. Honestly, I think still a rogue tier strategy. I think you guys should at least plan to see maybe one Drytron player at your next regional, and we'll see about that, see if he does anything. Mekanko came out of freaking nowhere. Definitely a tier 1.5 deck because wow. We first saw it, I believe, in YCS Indie where we saw the strategy with Ken again. I don't think it was Kaylin. I think it was somebody else who was playing it. Mechanicos actually can be really scary. There's a very few cards that can fully counter the deck, but with an equip ritual based strategy that's not, it's very niche into its own playstyle because no one really uses that type of stuff. I think is really cool. I think the Acid Golem lock is dirty. It's so dirty. It's so dirty. So but yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. It's so dirty. Yeah, definitely 1.5. Definitely 1.5. Unchained has dropped quite a little bit actually, because it used to be Unchained, you have to prepare for Unchained. Unchained is the #1 best deck in the format, blah 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 blah. Whatever it might be, but Unchained has kind of dropped in popularity, and I don't know why. I think it's because when it first started becoming popular, not many people really thought that knew what this deck really did. So when a lot of people started picking it up, like Pack, like Justin Kong, whatever it might be, people weren't necessarily as prepared for this matchup because we have been just got finished dealing with Cashier for so long. And Unchained was kind of seen like, oh cool, we got a little bit of support, whatever, you know. I don't really care, but it had risen to the best deck of the format. Now, of course, been overtaken by Tierlist, Vanadium, and Rescue Ace. I would put Mekanko slightly over Unchained. If you disagree, again, let me know in the comments. Sword Soul is a it's a bottom tier 2. A bottom tier 2. With a really good Sword Soul, dedicated Sword Soul player can absolutely outlast everybody. I think it's proven itself at regionals. It's proven itself at obviously, you know, OTS championships, things like that. But it has tops with regionals still. And I mean, the deck's still full power technically, except for Arc Nemesis Protos. but that card needs to stay banned because that card is stupid. But yeah, Sword Soul bottom tier 2, I think that's definitely very fair. Lubellion, so Lubellion, the Bestial Horus strategy specifically, is a deck that I do not have much experience with. I did see that one individual, was this Kalen who was playing this? I'm pretty sure it was, at YCS Indy. I'm gonna go ahead and put it at 1.5, but I just want to go ahead and preface this by saying I am not familiar with this deck at all. I am only basing this because it was doing well at YCS Indy, and if you want to go ahead and put this in the cheeks category, that is cool, and I'm not gonna fight you on that. I just want to go ahead and say that right now. I do not have enough experience with this deck to make any real claims on it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it right there, and we'll let whatever happens. Dragon Link, tier 2, high tier 2. Yeah, I'll put it under the Branded Chimera because there's a little bias there, not gonna lie. So surprisingly, even with one Chaos Space, this deck is still wild consistent and it's still really good. So I mean, I don't think we're ever gonna be able to kill off Dragon Link. I mean, the deck's just gonna find new stuff. Infernoble, I think that this deck relies way too much on going first. If it goes second, you're losing the game, essentially. If your opponent's able to negate its old, so imperm or whatever, or get the right thing off the field, you're not getting any effects, and your whole game is just game over, right? So I think it just relies a little bit too much on going first. Actually, I want to go ahead and put it towards the top of Rogue. I think that's fair. Actually, another deck that falls under a similar category would be Exodia. Exodia, the Forbidden One. Let's go, Jeff. That is cheeks, bro. Don't look. The fact that this man went 4-0 at a YCS and slapped that kid up in the feature match was beautiful. Was absolutely beautiful. I give full kudos to him, but we all know what happened afterwards. He went X3 the next 3 rounds. He scrubbed out the next 3 rounds. Much love for you, Jeff. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see this doing well at a competitive event where it takes multiple rounds, where you kind of have to go first, because if you don't go first, we see what happens. You summon 2 Santa Claus and you pass and you scoop against tier limits. So you know what I'm saying? I'll go ahead and leave this as a cheeks category. And of course, I have not forgotten about my Branded Despia people. Branded Despia, so it's just one of those decks that always hovers around the top, but never is considered a top tier deck. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it right here under Branded Chimera, because I still believe Branded Chimera is the better strategy of the two. But there is a lot of bias behind that sentence. Strictly, there's a lot of bias behind that sentence. Just be honest with you guys. No, Branded Chimera and Branded Despia are both fantastic strategies. Branded Despia has a lot more versatility in its line of play, whereas Branded Chimera is extremely very linear. So that is something that I do like about the Branded Despia strategy, where you have a little bit more options for yourself. And Branded Chimera is very much like discard Quaddle, get Mirror Knight, summon Mirror Knight, activate Mirror Knight effect. Yeah, it's the exact same thing every single time. So that's something to keep in mind. But that's gonna be it for my meta tier list for October/November 2023, guys. We'll see if we get an updated one potentially after a ban list, or maybe a new set. I don't think we have any more sets actually for the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong. I think we have a structure deck, Fire King structure deck, if I'm not mistaken, towards the end of this year. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe down below, get your skill issue draw the out Passion YGO merch down below, guys. Also, I released llama merch. If you guys like llamas playing Exodia, that's exactly what it's all about, guys. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.